People of power, welcome to Mount Fitness MBS Ministry, where I am your host, Brother Minister Mongoose. And if you are tuning in for the first time, let me advise you, or let me make you aware right off the bat, that this is not a traditional ministry, nor am I a traditional minister. What I mean by that, as far as the ministry itself, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. If you'd like some information about the services that are provided by this ministry that are designed to help you achieve wholeness in your health in terms of the mental you, the physical you, and the spiritual you, then I invite you to watch a video that's titled MBS Service Tutorial. If you like information about me, myself personally, and the actual origins of the ministry itself, then I invite you to watch a video that's titled My Testimony and Disclosure. I also would ask that you guys please visit the physical fitness branch of the ministry located at mountfitnessmbs.com. And if you're interested in any of the services, or if you have follow-up questions, please reach out to the ministry. I'll leave an email link down in the description box. But for now, I want to again officially welcome you guys. And without further ado, we'll get off into today's topic, where we're talking about the need for you to maintain discipline, warrior, to maintain discipline, person, and people of power, so that regardless of the strains, the struggles, the mistakes, the betrayals, the whatever it is, move and always move in godly conduct and godly behavior. The very essence, the very nature of God presides within you. And that's just the truth of the matter, guys. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, maintaining a godly behavior is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world, but it does get easier. Every time you struggle, every time you make a mistake, every time there's a setback, every time you overreact, underreact, lose focus, every time you're betrayed, every time they spread a rumor, any hardship, any headache that you have to deal with, and whether you dealt with it appropriately, efficiently, effectively, or not, the more and more you face up to the challenge that you need to get better, you need to keep working, it just makes you stronger and stronger. And you do get to the point to where regardless of it all, you operate, you exhibit, you set forth, you comport yourself in a way that makes it clear to everybody and everything that this godly nature that's within you is a real thing. Now, let me pivot to the side real quick, guys. I have several grandkids over here visiting right now, and so you may hear, one of my grandsons. Pardon me. She's coming. Be patient, please. So you may hear one of, the older, grandkids that are here at the time, which is, 7 or through 9, or some of the younger ones that's from a couple months up to, 4 or 5. Those are the younger ones. So to make a long story short, you may hear this in the background, guys. So bear with me. And I appreciate you guys' love and understanding when it comes to that. But again, to get back to today's message, it is your divine responsibility to walk in the energy of this thing that we have, that we call God. Godly behavior, godly conduct. You are made in the image and the likeness of God. And it's important that you realize that one of the main things that's at the heart of godly conduct is discernment. This discernment that can only come from on high. This is what guides you. This is what directs you. This is what orders your footsteps when it comes to what is godly conduct in this situation, in this circumstances. That only that discernment, that connection with this thing we call God, can tell you what godly conduct is in that situation. Some of the old timers used to phrase it as taking that pause within to say, what would Jesus do? in this situation, if he was facing this, if he was encountering by this. And we already know that this person that we refer to as Jesus has told us, has promised us, that we would perform even greater miracles than he did. So the same power that presided in him also presides in us. And from situation to situation, from circumstance to circumstances, from encounter to encounter, all of these things must be assessed, compartmentalized, and then properly addressed according to discernment. One person may step on your shoe. I'm just giving a couple examples or characterizations of the situation. One person may step on your shoe, and the Holy Spirit may say, hey, even though that was rude, you discern that it was intentional, walk away, ignore it. Another person steps on your shoe, you discern that it was intentional, and the Holy Spirit may have you address that in a totally different way. So we have to be flexible, just as our discernment is. The old school record, I think it was by Kenny Rogers, said you have to know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to walk away, when to run. That's the same card game that he's sitting at. Same situation, same circumstances, but each and every situation and circumstance requires a different action at that particular time, in that particular moment. But it all centers around that card game, / it all centers around you exhibiting and putting forth good old-fashioned godly behavior, something that's quite frankly is lost amongst the masses right now. And we all know that. It's easy to respond with ego. It's easy to respond with anger. It's easy to respond with fear. It's easy to respond with the inside the box programming of how you should respond. Those things are easy to do. They don't require any kind of conscious movement. They just require referring to the downloaded programming, the downloaded indoctrination. So anybody can do that. An example that I experienced most recently was in a situation where a clown, as a matter of fact, a complete clown, and there is a difference. A complete clown called me one of the most vulgar names of all, particularly as it relates to someone being in a black community. And what he called me was a B blank 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 blank, ass N-I, blank blank A. And the in vogue response, a typical response, a response that he was searching for, was for me to react a certain way. And yet godly behavior and discernment dictated that I responded in a way that was totally outside of what he or in vogue society and all the onlookers anticipated and expected. So respond, and it wasn't a way. I didn't overreact. I didn't underreact. To make a long story short, this guy was trying to provoke a incident, and I just simply told him, well, if that's the way you feel I am, then just go right ahead and feel free to treat me that way, and we'll see what happens. So, point that I'm making is this godly connection, the way that you are instructed and guided to be, depends on that discernment. Now, am I saying, as I mentioned, we have to be flexible, we have to be fluid. Now, there may be a similar or exact type of circumstances, and it may require a totally different kind of response, whether that response is a more direct confrontation and retaliation, or it may even respond something, an apology, whatever. Hey man, look, I don't know what's going on, but I apologize if I offended you. That's not what I'm about. That's not what I'm into. The point again is what I'm making here is that we have to be in that God energy at all times, so we can know what to do when and when to do what, and to realize that there's no one size fits all. Someone may treat you foul on a job. Someone may, make advances towards your wife or your spouse. In one situation, your Holy Spirit may tell you to handle it this way. And the next time he may tell you to handle it that way. But either way, as long as you're walking and being obedient to that download and to the discernment that leads to that download, it's going to be you walking in that godly behavior, that God energy, because it's appropriate. We're not here to be bullies. We're not here to be anyone's doormat. We're not here to, fit a certain mold. We're here to have godly behavior under any and all circumstances. Pardon me. So I just wanted to send this very brief message out to you guys today to encourage you guys to make sure that you surrender your mind, your body, your spirit, your thoughts, your actions, your intentions, your responses, all of these things. Surrender it to this thing that we call God. And that in itself is exhibiting God or godly behavior, conduct. We are called to be the light of the world, and the God energy presides in you. So, from an intellectual standpoint, it may not make sense, but faith doesn't make sense oftentimes. It doesn't make sense. So we're not here to be practical, to be Mr. or Mrs., intellectual. We're here to follow that Holy Spirit and to realize that Holy Spirit, that discernment, that God behavior may defy what's common sense, what's rational, what's expected. It may totally fly in the face of that. Faith doesn't make sense all the time, and making sense all the time doesn't amount to faith. It doesn't make sense if you explain half or 1/3 or 1/8 of the miracles that Christ or some of the disciples experienced. Doesn't make sense. Like, how can we rationalize? How can we reason? How can we make sense of Daniel being thrown in a lion's den and all of these lions who were starved? Back in those days, they were literally starved up to the point of near death, and so whatever hit that ground, they attacked it based on the sheer need of their starvation mode. So it doesn't make sense how Daniel was put in the den of all these lions, and when they went there, he essentially was used. When they went there the next day, expecting for him to be devoured as everyone else had been devoured, they found him essentially using these lions as pillows, laying on top of them, very comfortable. Doesn't make sense. So the way that this Holy Spirit may call and cause you to move, you have to trust it and not say, well, it's going to make me appear this way. It's not logical. It's not practical. This Holy Spirit will oftentimes lead you down paths that will order your footsteps in terms of your conduct, your behavior, how you handle that situation. It may deliberately lead you down a path that defies all logic, and yet it works out. So that's got to be our primary, our secondary and our tertiary response, which is to make sure that we are walking in godly conduct. And in order for us to achieve that, we must be totally locked into this thing that we call the Holy Spirit, which is the direct connection between the God Spirit that lives in you and the ultimate God Spirit that's out in the heavens or the ethers. The connecting point is discernment. So make sure you're keeping your prayer life up. Make sure you're keeping your meditation life up. The things that you do to rejuvenate, to decompress, all these things are important, because each and every day, just the society and the times that we live in alone, those things in themselves are sprinkling toxicity, self-doubt, frustration, ego, greed, the society and the times are sprinkling those things in the essence of each of us. But not everybody is going to take the steps to make sure that they cleanse every day from the marrow out, or dare I say, from underneath the marrow, the metaphysical out. And some people don't do that, and some people, as a result, aren't able to walk in godly behavior, godly conduct. And this is what sets you aside. This is what makes you different, because people, the environment, can sense that there's that godly energy in you, and you are committed to beholding to that godly energy. And you don't have to dot every I and cross every T and be totally perfect. We're covered in grace. We're covered in mercy. All you have to do is to be able to be so tuned in to this thing that we call God, that if and when you make a mistake, you can see it, you can accept it as being a mistake, you can go to God with it, and then you can receive that revelation, that strength, that renewal, that forgiveness that you need, that empowerment that you need to be better the next time. So keep all these things in mind, guys, and know that when you walk, when you sit, when you talk, when you speak, when you contemplate, when you pontificate, when you do all of these things, you need to be doing these things from a mindset that says, okay, what would Christ be doing? Or whatever metaphor, what analogy, what concept works best for you, what would the universe be doing? Whatever you consider to be this ultimate power, what would it be doing? And as an aside, sometimes we have, what I'll call to as, what I'll call to as, we'll say, just as a point of reference, we'll say heroes, people that you support. So you can also take a brief moment to zoom out and say, how would this person that I support, this person that I admire, this person that I look up to, whether it's a biblical figure or whether it's a religious figure or whatever. It could be a neighbor, it could be, one of your favorite athletes on TVs, it could be, whatever. But you hold this person in great reverence, and you can zoom out and ask yourself, okay, how would they deal with this? If I was that person, this person that I look up to, this person that I respect, this person that I admire, this person that I support, how would they handle this? So there's all different kinds of views, all different kinds of perspectives, and of course, all different kinds of teachings, all different kinds of studies, all different kinds of religions, spiritual, philosophical perspectives that are there to help us, to be used as tools to help us make sure that we're staying zoned into this godly conduct, We know what that is, this godly conduct, this godly behavior. Love, strength, character, beauty, resilience, toughness, humbleness, compassion, tolerance, patience, meekness, boldness, love. We know what the godly characters are. And it's just inside us to decide, and the discernment is what leads us to say, okay, I need to be more loving in this situation. And even though this is the same exact type of situation, I need to be a bit more firm over here. Over here, I need to rise above it. Same, different situations, I need to confront this. And once you do that, you can rest assured, you can feel good, because the spirit man will line up with you and let you know that you handled that appropriately, whether again it was walking away, confronting, apologizing, encouraging, or being stern, or whatever the case may be. That Holy Spirit's going to line up with you. You're going to know that was the way I needed to handle that, because God is all, this ultimate power is all of these things. He says he is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the light and the darkness. He is the beginning and the end. He is the creation and the destruction. So he's all of these things. So I don't want you guys to get bogged down in your own, intellect, in your own, sense of, what's right politically, what's right from a, in vogue culture type of standpoint, a family belief, family tradition type of standpoint. I don't want you to get bogged down by that and to think that because you had to check somebody or you had to walk away from somebody, whatever the case may be. I don't want you thinking that you have to be cemented and fossilized in a certain way of being. God is all of these things, and all of these things are inside of you as well, his likeness and his image. So you are endowed with the same spirit that says, hey, listen, let me stay dialed into this ultimate thing that we call God. And then that he is going to order my footsteps, my words, my physical footsteps, my emotional footsteps, my financial footsteps. I just have to stay dialed into him. And when I do this, regardless if it works out this way, if it turns out that way, it's good old-fashioned godly behavior. And that's what we're called to do. That's what we're called to be. That's what we're called to represent. And this is our tool to leading others to doing the same as it relates to their individual walk as well. So that's what I got for you guys. Just a word of encouragement to say, hey, keep walking in God or godly conduct and behavior. You don't have to be perfect. It's not perfection in and of itself that makes us perfect, because sometimes in different situations and different circumstances, maybe perfection in that area, that season or whatever, maybe it's not intended for us. And we all know that the ultimate perfection comes from his divine timing and by his divine path. The point that I'm making is it's not perfection in and of itself that makes us perfect. It's our commitment. It's our pursuit of perfection that makes us perfect. Never yielding, never giving up, never, being apologetic for who you are and the energy that's in you. Learning from your mistakes. Continuing to be locked in and to this thing that we call discernment. These are the things that makes us perfect, guys. So if you fall down, if you make mistakes, whatever the case may be, as long as you're giving it your all to walk in that godly conduct, you're all right. That means you're on the right path. So if there's anything this ministry can do to assist you guys, definitely reach out. I love the opportunity to speak with you. Again, I'll leave the email link down in the description box. If you're interested in any of the services, if you want prayer, motivation, study material, etc., hit that email link down in the description box. Please also give back to this ministry, guys. There's several ways that you can do so. In my most humble request, I ask that you guys start with the share button. That's the purpose of this ministry. To minister, guys, to put out the good word throughout the land. And I can't do anything other than put this message out. It's up to you to share this message based on the people that you follow, based on the people that you are connected with when it comes to social media. You can spread this message even further. And we already know that when we plant good seed in good ground, we receive an abundant harvest. So hit the share button, guys, and then if the Holy Spirit moves you to do so, also be sure to hit the thumbs up button for the algorithm. Hit the subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, and hit the bell icon for notifications. If you would like to make a monetary donation to this ministry, I'm going to leave a Cash App link down in the description box for you to do so. Remember, if you send $1, I think they call that buy me a coffee, I don't know. But the Cash App link, you can send $1, you can send $100, or you can send more. It's up to your wallet, it's up to your heart, and definitely it's up to the instructions that he would download for you to send. But either way, I do appreciate all the love. I do appreciate all of the support. I'm closing now, guys, but I want to encourage you guys to know that regardless of what's going on, just like you are anointed and assigned to exhibit godly behavior in all areas, regardless of your mistakes, your shortcomings, how hard it is, how difficult it is, Just like you are anointed to fulfill that obligation, you're also anointed to fulfill the obligation of making sure that regardless of what's going on, your mind, your body, and your spirit remains as beautiful, as vibrant, and as healthy as possible. This ministry has been anointed to help you achieve that goal. That's what I got for you guys. Thanks again for all the love and support. I love all of you guys whose hearts are in the right place, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.